Hello everybody and welcome to the Pocono Raceway for the 2005 Pocono 500 and the 15th race for 2005 and 2003 season here at the Tricky Triangle. Brian Vickers has been on a bit of a hot streak as of lately. Got that win in the Coke 600 2 episodes ago on pole alongside Carl Edwards, who got his first career win at Kansas recently as well. Nemechek and Kyle Busch row 2 as we are green and underway here in the Tricky Triangle. Who will conquer Pocono and find themselves in victory lane today? We will find out as Vickers Edwards lead us to the green side by side down into turn 1 for the first time today here in Pocono. Well, of course, last season's winners were Jeremy Mayfield and Jimmy Johnson. Johnson at the front here running 3 wide, middle back there for 6. Vickers clear for the race lead with a great start to the race through turn 1. You got Kyle Busch and Nemechek battling out for second behind him. Kyle Busch has had a very impressive rookie season in that number 5 Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports. He already has that win at Las Vegas and trying to add another one to his resume today. Back here, 3 wide racing. Jimmy Johnson, your points leader with Dale Jarrett and Jamie McMurray. Carl Edwards now a bit of a squeeze there, but everyone makes it through okay. But Brian Vickers continuing to lead here as we go through turn 3. And Brian Vickers will lead the opening lap of racing here in Pocono, trying to get his second win in the last 3 races. Now we on to lap 3. Vickers still leading, but here comes the 0-1 of Joe Nemechek to the inside. The former driver of the 25 car that Vickers replaced was Joe Nemechek, and now Nemechek clear for the race lead out of turn 1 here in Pocono. He takes lead there from Vickers, but a caution comes out a lot later in the stage as we have a restart now here on lap 47. Going to be 14 to go in stage 1. Vickers, Nemechek still the front row, side by side for the race lead here. One of them trying to get the advantage on this restart. Will it be Nemechek or Vickers? We'll find out. Behind them, you got Carl Edwards and his teammate of Mark Martin. Now 3 wide for the lead into turn 1. Contact between Nemechek and Vickers. Vickers gets shuffled out of the way, and Nemechek takes lead. You got Kevin Harvick going to the grass back there. 3 wide throughout the pack. Some wild racing going on so far here in Pocono. Nemechek, Vickers side by side for the lead heading into turn 2. Who will prevail for the lead? Still going to be side by side. Vickers, though, I think is going to lose the battle. Indeed, he will. Nemechek and Edwards clear for the 1-2 spot here. Pocono to go down turn 2 to turn 3. Contact trouble. Around goes Ryan Newman in front of the pack. Dale Jarrett spins. Quavo got some damage, and it's the big one. There's Jeff Gordon flying around behind him. Slow-mo replay, just 3 wide squeeze. Jarrett turns Newman into Jimmy Johnson in the wall. Newman slams Travis Quathel, who has destroyed Hood. Jarrett gets spun around by Bobby Labonte. A lot of cars trying to avoid in the bottom. Out of nowhere, you see Jeff Gordon just come spinning on the bottom of the racetrack out of nowhere. Dale Jarrett gets drilled by LePage. Here's a full speed angle of it. See Newman and Jarrett just coming down the benches. There's actually an incident behind us that sent Jeff Gordon spinning through the grass at insane season. Comes back up and slams Newman and Labonte. A huge hit for Jeff Gordon into Bobby Labonte and Ryan Newman. See, he got clipped by Robbie Gordon and spun off of Kyle Petty. He had no control and then right T-bones Ryan Newman right up into Bobby Labonte, who has nowhere to go. All 3 cars slam the wall and are destroyed. Dale Jarrett heavy damage. LePage big damage. What happened here to Kevin LePage? He hits Dale Jarrett, gets slammed by Greg Saxon. LePage goes upside down, and LePage barrel rolls about 6 times till he finally comes to a rest in turn 3 after the huge one strikes here at Pocono late in stage 1, bringing out the caution. You see Waltrip is damaged. Terry Labonte Jr.'s got some damage. So Nemechek will lead us alongside Carl Edwards as we get back underway now. Just 9 laps remaining in this opening stage of racing. Of course, LePage, Kyle Petty out of this race, as well as Labonte, Newman, and Jarrett, leaving just 37 cars in the race after that big pileup. A bunch of them 1 lap down, including Jeff Gordon. Behind us, nearly 4 wide for second. Vickers gets into Nemechek. Big contact for second between those two. Vickers takes a position away, but Carl Edwards off to the early lead here in stage number 1. You get that Kurt Busch, Ken Schrader going down on the grass back there, almost wrecking. Looks like they all get it figured out. And we continue on racing here, making our way through stage 1. Edwards trying to hold the lead. Brian Vickers, though, charging in second. Here comes Brian Vickers to the inside of Carl Edwards. Vickers trying to take the stage win away in 3. Can Vickers take the lead and try to drive away to get what would be his 3rd stage win of the season? Every time he's won a stage, he's won a race this season. Will that continue as Carl Edwards leads the way here with just 8 to go in stage 1 in Pocono over Brian Vickers and Joe Nemechek? As now we move on here to lap 60. Last lap of stage 1. Vickers has now taken that lead away from Carl Edwards. Vickers now in position to win the stage. Edwards in second. Kyle Busch in third. McMurray in fourth. And Nemechek trying to hold Mark Martin for the now. Here comes Kyle Busch for second. That 5 car is rolling. Kyle Busch charging up through the pack into second now, trying to chase down his teammate O'Brien Vickers for the lead in the stage win here. Kyle Busch definitely could use every playoff point he can get. Of course, your Las Vegas race winner won at his home track in his debut. Extremely impressive there for Kyle Busch as he battles Carl Edwards for second, but it looks like Brian Vickers is going to drive away as they go through the straightaway coming into turn 3 now for the final time in this opening stage of racing. This time by, they'll see the green and white checkers as Brian Vickers goes through turn 3 and is going to cruise on the final few laps to a stage 1 victory as Brian Vickers wins stage 1 here in Pocono, his 3rd stage win of the season. Kyle Busch second, Edwards third, McMurray fourth, Nemechek rounds out the top 5, Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick, Rusty Wallace, Matt Kenseth, Jeremy Mayfield, your top 10 as Vickers gets the stage 1 win here in Pocono. See if he can continue the streak. This would be his 3rd straight race where he's won a stage and won a race, and those are the only races that he's won a stage are the races he's won this season. Now in this restart, a lot of track position strategies. Now Dave Blaney and Ken Schrader on the front row. A lot of your contenders are mixed up throughout the pack with wild pit strategy on the last yellow, so this could be a chaotic restart. Into turn 1, Ken Schrader clear for the race lead. The inside lane, a great restart, a horrible restart for the outside lane. Rusty Wallace almost turns Dave Blaney right there as they go through turn 2, but it's Schrader with the lead. Edwards and McMurray hunting him down now, trying to take the lead away down this back straightaway. You see, Jeff Burton racing Rusty Wallace, and Jeff Burton's going to send Rusty Wallace spinning. There goes the 2. Rusty spins and slams the inside wall. Heavy damage to the back bumper of Rusty Wallace. His car destroyed as he goes crashing down the backstretch into turn 2. The caution is actually not thrown for that, so I have to manually throw the yellow for that, which we will, for Rusty Wallace getting dumped by Jeff Burton. And Rusty, who had a real top 5 car today, having a really good run, is destroyed out of this race. Meanwhile, back at the front, it is Carl Edwards leading Jamie McMurray. Now this restart will be Edwards and Sadler side by side here on lap 70. Still another 57 to go. We're still in this stage. We're early in stage 2. Edwards, Sadler side by side for the lead. Sadler leads the lap at the line. Of course, last episode's winner in Dover. Sadler dominated that race, got it done, trying to put himself in position to get it done here. But Carl Edwards' car is just too fast on the inside lane. Edwards to the race lead here in Pocono over Elliott Sadler and Jeremy Mayfield, who are side by side for second. There's a huge crash in turn 1. Ricky Rudd, Greg Sachs, Terry Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Jason Leffler go crashing. Here's basically, it was just too much of a squeeze. Terry Labonte hooked by Jason Leffler. Massive hits for Greg Sachs and Ricky Rudd, and Casey Kane just turns Jeff Gordon head onto the outside wall at the last second. Terry just came up in a massive incident there. Air time for the 13 of Greg Sachs. Big hit for Jeff Gordon into the outside wall. Sent in there by Casey Kane. Shame that Terry Labonte's car is destroyed. He was having a decent day in the 44. Well, his final few starts of his career just not going to end the way he wanted to, crashing out here in Pocono after that big pileup. And all of a sudden, we're starting to get a rash of incidents here in Pocono. As Carl Edwards continues to lead the way here on lap 75. Brian Vickers chasing him down in second as they go through 3. Nemechek in third, trying to find a way by. Oh, but trouble out of 3. Big problems. Casey Mears into the outside wall with Matt Kenseth. Big crash. Caution comes out. This time Mark Martin hooked Jeff Green right into the quarter panel of Casey Mears, who goes head on. Hard hit impact to the outside wall, and then Kenseth nowhere to go, slams into Casey Mears. They all go on the outside wall. Biffle looks like he gets spun off the nose of Jeff Burton down there. Here's a full speed replay. What a hit there for Casey Mears, my God. And Matt Kenseth's terrible luck continues. Up here, Greg Biffle's getting in, and Greg Biffle's upside down. Oh my goodness, a 16 on his lid. Biffle now barrel rolling end over end down the front straightaway. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 flips in the air. A massive crash for Greg Biffle. Up and over, the caution comes out. And now looking at the list of guys out of the race as we get back underway here on lap 80 between Vickers and Edwards still leading. I mean, you got Newman, Jarrett, Leffler, Sachs, Gordon, Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle all out of this race and more. Is at the front. Vickers now clear for the lead over Carl Edwards. They're 3 wide for 4th back there in Mayfield. Kyle Busch and Elliott Sadler going at it for position down this backstretch in a really compromised position. A little bit of a squeeze. Mayfield bounces off the wall. Kyle Busch put in a really bad spot here as they go into 2, and he's going to clip Elliott Sadler head on the outside wall. Huge hit goes Elliott Sadler hard in the wall with Kyle Busch, who gets slammed by Dave Blaney. Rusty Wallace spinning in front of the pack collects Robbie Gordon and a huge wreck in turn 2 takes out some top contenders like Elliott Sadler and Kyle Busch, who are running in the top 5, having excellent days, are now out. And I have another restart here. Vickers and Edwards side by side for the lead as we get back underway now on lap 85 in this absolute wreckfest of a stage. So also out of the race, you got Mike Garvey, Jeff Green, Casey Mears, Mike Wallace, Kenseth, Waltrip, Mayfield, Busch, Rusty Wallace, Sadler. This is still Vickers. Edwards side for the lead going into 1 here. Harvick into Joe Nemechek. Oh, it was Nemechek. Huge crash collects Mark Martin. There goes Jimmy Johnson. Jeff Burton to the wall, and Jr., Robbie Gordon, and Sterling Marlin slide into it. Here's somebody like Kevin Harvick just hooks Joe Nemechek. Nemechek gets slammed to the outside wall. Nowhere for Mark Martin to go. You see those 3 come sliding in at the end there. But what happened to Harvick? Harvick hits the ball, gets launched directly out into the nose of Jimmy Johnson, and then Harvick gets T-boned hard by Sterling Marlin, with Junior Robbie Gordon running right into the back of them. And just like that, another 7-8 cars knocked out of this race, and was all of a sudden turned into a wreck fest here at Poconos. Now we move on to the last lap of stage 2. It is Carl Edwards leading, looking to get his first stage win of the season over Brian Vickers in second, who continues to have an extremely impressive day. And with all this attrition, Edwards and Vickers surviving at the front are clearly the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack, are in a great spot now to have a duel for the win here, both who have already won this season. And also got Schrader, Jamie McMurray, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. on the lead lap. Also in the race, you got Scott Wimmer, Mayfield, and Travis Quaffle 1 lap down. Mike Bliss and Kurt Busch 2 laps down. Casey Kane also limping around out there. So as Carl Edwards goes through turn 3 for the final time, and in an attrition-filled stage 2 here in Pocono, he's going to barely hold off Brian Vickers, who had a good run out of 3, but he's going to run out of time, and Carl Edwards wins stage 2 here in Pocono. Vickers second, got Wimmer coming across there in 6th, Mike Bliss through in 9th, Quaffle there in 8th, Quaffle 7th, Mayfield 8th, Kurt Busch 10th. And here's Casey Kane limping around back there. There's Ken Schrader now in the 49. Coming home to take 3rd in this second stage of racing, way off the pace, 32 seconds behind the 2 leaders, who are way faster than the rest of these guys who are slipping around out there with slow cars, or just cars that have been damaged from the multitude of incidents that we've had today, taking out a ton of contenders. So Schrader comes through to finish 3rd, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. trying to hold off Jamie McMurray for the 4th spot here in the stage. McMurray clearly faster than Hamilton in the 32, but just going to run out of time. They're not going to be able to make the move. Bobby Hamilton Jr. comes home 4th, McMurray 5th in the stage. So Carl Edwards wins stage 2 here in Pocono, back underway in the 3rd and final stage of racing. Jamie McMurray now on the restart, 3 wide outside lane. What a move, McMurray. Last year's runner-up in the points takes the lead here at Pocono with 70 to go. Edwards 2nd, Vickers 3rd, Schrader down to 4th. As Ken Edwards and Vickers now chase down McMurray. Now a caution came out here, a restart here with just 19 to go. McMurray led every lap up until that caution. He's been in a great spot alongside Schrader on the front row now. Edwards, Vickers, row 2, trying to rekindle that speed that they had very early here. McMurray with the lead, almost 4 wide for 2nd into 2. Oh my goodness, into 1. They almost wrecked somehow. Carl Edwards and Brian Vickers fit through the middle of that 4 wide and muscle their way into 2nd and 3rd. And while this is happening, a caution comes out as Casey Kane dumps Kurt Busch. The 97 slams the wall, and the 4th out of 5 Roush cars is now out of this race, leaving just Carl Edwards. Now that leaves another restart. Now 14 to go. Brian Vickers clear for the race lead. He beats Schrader, McMurray on the restart. Edwards moves McMurray out of the way. He makes a 3 wide pass for 2nd. The question is, can Edwards now chase down Brian Vickers, who's trying to get his 2nd win in the last 3 races and his 3rd on the year, as he is driving away now, white flag in the air. Final lap presented by Credit One Bank, and it is all Brian Vickers here in Pocono as he looks to bring home a statement win here that cements himself as one of the top contenders for this championship here at Pocono. This is going to be his 3rd win of the year and the 4th of his career. And obviously he didn't get it done at Dover last week. Elliott Sadler got the win, but just 2 episodes ago he won the Coke 600 in dominating fashion. And he's about to do it again here in Pocono, and the streak will continue, make that 3 straight races where Brian Vickers has won a stage that he is going to win the race as he goes through turn 3 for the final time here in Pocono. Got a nice 2-second cushion back to Carl Edwards, who's not going to get there as he comes out of 3 for the final time. Brian Vickers survives the attrition, and Vickers wins again, this time in Pocono. 3rd win of the year, 4th of the season for 4th of his career for Vickers. Edwards 2nd, McMurray comes home 3rd. A valiant effort for Carl Edwards, just comes up short, and Ken Schrader going to be making his way through turn 3 for his best finish of the season, his first top 5 all season long in 4th place. Same thing for Bobby Hamilton Jr. in 5th. There's Jeremy Mayfield limping across the line in 6th. Travis Quaffle, your Daytona 500 champion, comes through to finish in 8th for his 3rd top 10. Scott Wimmer comes home in 7th. Casey Kane behind him in 9th, and now the 7 of Robbie Gordon's going to limp his way to the finish line with no hood on that car to get a 10th place finish, his first top 10 as well. As these are the only cars to finish the race. Only 10 cars to finish the race, so Robbie Gordon comes home in 10th, trying to your top 10. And of course, Brian Vickers gets the win here in Pocono, and really establishing himself as a threat now, a contender for the title as he gets his 3rd win of the season, the most of anyone, and just his 2nd full-time season of competition. There are the final race results on the left side of your screen, and you can see the longest list of DNFs we've probably had all season long, as 32 cars wrecked out of this race, only 10 out of the 42 starters finished, only 3 of them really being competitive. And the updated playoff grid will be shown momentarily. Now you look at the updated playoff grid. Of course, Brian Vickers now top of the board. Only driver to hit 3 victories on the season, establishing himself as one of the favorites to fight for this championship. On another note, the guys who are currently in the playoffs on points, not much really changes. Jeremy Mayfield, Mark Martin, Casey Kane still with pretty solid gaps. Jeff Burton now only 5 above the cut line. And Kevin Harvick remains on that bubble by a hair. Just 1 point above Jamie McMurray at the bubble. Mike Bliss, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Dave Blaney, they got some work to do to point their way in the playoffs. Until the next episode, we'll be heading to the Michigan International Speedway for some racing there to win who will win the Manufacturers Cup. And now before we end this episode, as always, want to give a shout out and a thank you to my channel members. So far, my guy, Jeremy Isley, love you, brother. Keep up the support. I really appreciate it. And if any of you other subscribers want to become channel members, the link is down in the description down below. And you can also hit the join button, and you'll get access to exclusive perks. So until next episode, I hope you all have a good one.